I want to first go across to my colleague Akshita. Akshita Nandgopal is in Abu Dhabi at the Bab's temple and it's looking absolutely glorious. Akshita, the organizers had come to our office to invite us all here. We're all here looking at your coverage and it just does look to be a very, very beautiful structure, and most importantly in an area at the heart of the Arab kingdom. For a temple of this nature to open up must be very special for all Hindus in that whole region.
Very, very true, Rahul. And I can tell you that pictures quite simply don't do justice to the beautiful monument behind me, wonderfully lit up now as the sun sets here in Abu Dhabi. But as beautiful as the monument is, also hugely significant, hugely symbolic of the progress that we've seen in India-UAE ties. Prime Minister Modi will be here tomorrow in what he calls his second home. He's referred to UAE repeatedly as his second home. He's referred to Mohammed bin Zayed, MBZ, as his brother. And that chemistry, that bonhomie is translated in so many ways into great relations between India and UAE. The Prime Minister's 7th visit to UAE will be tomorrow, and there will be a bilateral that will take place. Besides that, of course, we're going to be seeing the Ahlan Modi event, which was supposed to be an unprecedented, historic Indian diaspora outreach, Rahul. It's been slightly scaled down because of the inclement weather here. There have been non-stop thunderstorms, but it still promises to be a massive, massive event. And then on February 14th, the Prime Minister will be here where I am at the Bab's Hindu Mandir to unveil this temple. And, the reason that the Prime Minister is also going to be here is because he understands, and I'm sure the world will be watching this hugely significant moment where you have a Hindu temple for which land was given by the Abu Dhabi government. And as they say here at Bab's, they say that, this is a Muslim king who's donated land for a Hindu temple, and there's nothing more that symbolizes how beautifully synchronized every culture here, whether it's India and UAE, India and the Middle East, really concerned.
Well, Akshita, we look forward to your coverage over the next couple of days. Thank you very much. Hugely envious of the kind of locale that Akshita is live from tonight. Do catch her coverage on India Today all through tomorrow and the day after. I want to now just look at the India Today report card on the government's handling of different aspects of foreign policy. I'll take the first larger umbrella question around how people perceive the handling of all aspects of foreign policy by the Modi government. Rate the foreign policy of the Modi government. This is the question. I just want to walk across and take you through the responses to this question. So when the question was asked, is the handling of foreign policy excellent, good, poor or very poor? Here are the answers that we saw. 46% of the respondents in the India Today Mood of the Nation poll said that the handling of foreign policy was excellent. 46% saying it's excellent. 24% saying the handling of foreign policy was good. 15% saying the handling of foreign policy was poor. 8% saying the handling of foreign policy was very poor. So 46% rating it to be great, 24% saying good, 15% saying poor, and 8% saying very poor. That's the report card on the first question. With that, I want to go across to Raj Chingappa, who apart from editing India Today magazine is one of our sharpest foreign affairs watchers. Raj, the stereotype would suggest that when you've got a prime minister who is so openly a proponent of Hindutva, that the Gulf Arab countries would not like it, that there'd be tension and fracture. Instead, we're seeing Prime Minister Modi dominate hearts in the UAE and in other countries in a manner that no recent Prime Minister has. What do you make of this, the stereotype and the reality that he's with?
I mean, if you add these two figures together that you presented, they amount to 70%. And that 70% rating has been there for the last 3 or 4 MOTNs. Clearly, I mean, apart from the afterglow of the G20, where I think Prime Minister Modi's approach was unique. He brought it to the people rather than just one of those esoteric sort of gatherings of leaders. He made sure that it went right across, so the people became sensitized. And if you recall, one of the things they said, they see G20 as the second biggest achievement after Ram Mandir, or handling of international relations. The other thing is the way he's handled each of the major, India has faced major crises during this, in his second term, whether it is the Chinese border intrusion, whether it is the Russian war, the Gaza war subsequently, and the challenges that he's faced now in the Middle East. I think very, very smartly, Prime Minister Modi has built relations with Saudi Arabia, with UAE, and now with Qatar, which is a diplomatic coup to get our Navy personnel back at
Just
the
look
thick
at
of
the timing.
Brilliant
This is a new India punching way above its past weight category in global affairs. You know, if it was Xi Jinping or the President of the United States, you'd imagine for something like this to happen. 8 Indian Navy men coming back just a day before the PM goes there.
And, just to tell you, when we had interviewed the Prime Minister, we asked him these things on foreign affairs and what is his approach. And I think that's very important, because he says we will be constructive. Wherever we find this friendship is there and we can develop that thing, but we'll stand firm if we feel that either terror or other issues are there. So the clarity with which he brings to foreign policy, I think, is also very, very important in the ways. And finally, let's not forget, in a year, he has nuanced the balance in terms of Russia by importing oil. We had our national interests, so we had kept inflation down. Gaza, very rightly, condemned the kind of Hamas attack, but at the same time built relations with Hamas to say that, look, we need diplomacy, but terrorism will not be tolerated. And let's look at the other aspect. US, the fact that he has a highly successful visit to the US and Biden and him sign major protocols, including the co-production of the GE 414 engine, which has never happened before, and the strengthening of Quad. So we have understood that China is a major problem, and so is Pakistan in some senses, more a shadow of thing. We have built our assets or our relations with the Gulf, which Pakistan had a huge sort of leverage, particularly among Islamic countries, and as well as made sure that when it came to the Indo-Pacific region and the US relations, we have built a structure